Okay, let's get some of these formulas down. I know you guys know a lot of these formulas, but I want to write them down anyway. Okay, we have our perimeter formula for a rectangle. And the area, you could either do area is length times width, or you could do area is base times height. Okay, a parallelogram, the perimeter formula is the same as the rectangle, 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Of course, with perimeter, you could always just add up all the sides. You don't necessarily have to follow a special formula. You could just add all the sides. But its area formula is base times height. Oh, for the love of Pete. Miss Wood? Oh, yes, she is. Okay. Bye. Karina, you're supposed to be in 620 right now. Okay, so I don't know what it is about the parallelogram, but a lot of times students struggle with that one for some reason. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll see as we start going through this packet if any of you have problems with the parallelogram. Okay, the square, once again, you could just add up all the sides, or you could just take 4 times the length of a side. And for area, you could either take the length of a side and square it, or you could do length times width, or you could do base times height. It really doesn't matter to me when you're working with the square which one you use. Whatever you like the best. Okay, the rhombus, remember how all sides are the same? So you can find the perimeter the same way that you found the perimeter with the square. Just take 4 times the length of the side, since all the sides are the same, or just add up all 4 sides. Doesn't matter. This little formula here, have you guys seen this formula before? No. I figured not. Okay, so this is the formula for finding area of a rhombus. It is also the formula for area of a kite, too. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down. We're not doing kites today, I don't think. Well, we'll see. There might be some kites stuck in here. Oh. Area of a kite 2 is what I wanted to write, not area of a kite today. Area of a kite 2. Okay, with the triangle, there is no special formula for perimeter. You just have to add up all your sides. And then the formula for area is either 1/2 base times height or base times height divided by 2, whichever way you prefer it. And then the trapezoid, we're going to add up all sides on this one too. There isn't a special formula for that one either, for finding perimeter. And then I imagine you've all seen this area formula for the trapezoid. Have you guys all seen this formula for area of a trapezoid before? Okay, so remember the bases, they're the parallel sides, and the height is the one that connects the two together, and it's always straight up and down. Okay, on the front page, I'm not going to do all of these on here, but I'll do a few of them. I want to start with number 2 because he looks fun. So, on perimeter, this is what kind of shape do you think? A rectangle. So I could add up all 4 sides, or I could take 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. So, let's see if I can squeeze it all in here. Which one do you think is the length? Okay, 10x squared y cubed. And then plus 2 times the width. And then the width is the 4x to the 5th y. And quite honestly, if you have the length and the width turned around, it doesn't really matter. But the length is supposed to be the longest side, and the width is supposed to be the shortest side. Okay, so what do you think we would get if we took 2 times the 10x squared y cubed? What's 2 times 10? 20. And then the x squared y cubed just follows. The only thing you're actually multiplying are the 2 and the 10.
Oh, I know. I'm just taking 10 squared plus 200.
I heard you. I just tried to not hear it. And then if I take 2 times the 4x to the 5th y, what would that be? Okay. And then do you think I can actually add those together? To add or subtract, they have to be like terms, which means the letters and the variables, they have to look exactly the same. Same letter, same exponent, and they don't. So that's as good as it gets. Okay, and then because it's a rectangle, I can find the area either by taking length times width or base times height, however you like to think of it. So I'm going to do length times width. So we said a minute ago the length was 10x squared y cubed, and the width is 4x to the 5th y. Now, when you're multiplying and dividing, they don't have to look the same. When you add and subtract, they have to look the same in order to be able to add and subtract. But if you're multiplying and dividing, they do not have to look the same. So when I multiply these, I start with the leading coefficients. What's 10 times 4? 40. And then I multiply the x's. What's x squared times x to the 5th? X to the 7th. Good. You add the exponents. And then y to the 3rd times y? Y to the 4th, because you add the exponents. Okay, so if you're multiplying and dividing, the letters don't have to look the same, but if you're adding and subtracting, they do. So I just wanted to do that one because it was fun looking, I thought. Okay, let's go down to 5. On number 5, if I want to find the perimeter of this, can anybody tell me without me saying anything? 4m. All 4 sides are congruent, so this side's an m, this side's an m, this side's an m. So if I add m plus m plus m plus m, that's 4m. Or because it's a square, I could take 4 times the length of a side, which is still 4m. So it doesn't matter if you add up all the sides, m plus m plus m plus m, or you use the formula 4 times the length of a side. Okay, what do you think the area is? M squared. You can take a side and you can square it, and that would give you m squared. And that's the special formula for area of a square, is to take a side length and square it. Or you could just take length times width, base times height, m times m, and get m squared that way. Okay, let's flip. All right, now I'm going to do the majority of these. Okay, what shape is number 7? It is a parallelogram. So it's a parallelogram because the top and the bottom are parallel and the left and the right side are parallel. So it is a parallelogram. So if I flip back to the parallelogram, if I want to find the perimeter, I can either use the formula 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, or just add all sides. It doesn't matter. And area is base times height. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the formula. So I'm going to take 2 times the length plus 2 times the width to find the perimeter. What would you say the length and the width are? 8 and 6. The 4 is not the length, the 4 is not the width. Do you know what the 4 is? The 4 is the height. It's straight up and down, and it connects these 2 parallel sides together. So that 4 is straight up and down. He's the height, but that has nothing to do with perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around the shape, so it would be 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6 if you wanted to add all 4 sides like that. Okay, can anybody give me a final answer here? 28. So either you can use the formula 2 times the length plus 2 times the width, or you can add up all 4 sides, 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6. It doesn't matter, your choice. Okay, area is base times height, and what do you think the base is? The base is 8, and we already talked about the height. What's the height? 4. Okay, so the base and the height will always be connected to each other, so there's the base and there's the height, or you can think of this one as the base and that's the height. But height has to be straight up and down, and then the base will always be connected to it. So 8 times 4 makes 32. And I haven't been worrying about labels just because none of these have had units on them, so I don't really care. Okay, number 8. This kind of takes us back to Algebra 1 a little bit. This one only wants area, so it just wants base times height. And can you tell me what the base is? 5x minus 1 is the base, and the height is 3x plus 2. So remember, the height is always straight up and down, and it's connected to the base, and that base is the 5x minus 1. Do you know what you have to do with this guy? You have to FOIL. You have to double distribute, however you were taught to do it. So you're going to distribute the 5x with both things inside the second set of parentheses, and then you're going to distribute the negative 1 with both things inside the second set of parentheses, also known as FOIL. So how much is 5x times 3x? 15x squared. And then how about 5x times 2? 10x, and it's positive, so I'm going to go plus 10x. Okay, now I have to distribute the negative 1 with both things inside the second set of parentheses. So what's negative 1 times 3x? Negative 3x, good. And negative 1 times a positive 2? Negative 2. And then at this point, you just look to see if you have any like terms that you can combine. Do you have any? Yeah, those guys right there in the middle. So the 15x squared, he's just going to come down because there was nothing to combine with him. And then what's the 10x and the negative 3x give you? 7x. And then there's nothing to combine with the negative 2, so that just drops, and there he is. Was that easy? Because we haven't foiled in here in like ages. Okay.
So you don't want us to take it all the way, just leave it at the equation?
Yes, because if I were to do anything from here, it would be factoring, which would take it back to here.
Yeah.
So, okay, number 9. This says that it is an equilateral triangle. So what do you know about an equilateral triangle? All sides are the equal. So how long is this side? 6. And how long is this side? 6. Okay, so what would your perimeter be? 18. You just add up all the three sides, 6 plus 6 plus 6, which is 18. Okay, and then our formula for area of a triangle is either 1/2 base times height or base times height divided by 2. Do most of you prefer the base times height divided by 2 versus 1/2 base times height? Okay, so what would you say the base is? 6. How about the height? 5. Okay, so just to talk about that, the height is always straight up and down, and the height will always be attached to the base. So the 6 is the base and the 5 is the height. And then divide by 2, and that would make 15. Gorgeous. Okay, why don't you try 11 real quick, and then we'll come back to 10. So take a second and try 11, and then we'll come back to 10. Okay, what do you guys think about perimeter? 3m. You just add up all three sides, m plus m plus m, and if you add m plus m plus m, that does make 3m. Okay, and how about area? mn divided by 2. Your formula is base times height divided by 2. Remember, height is always straight up and down, and it's going to be attached to the base. So the base is m, the height is n, and then you divide by 2. And then you can't do anything with that. So that's it. It's just mn divided by 2. So I'm just going to rewrite it without the parentheses. You okay with that? Okay, now number 10 is different than the ones that we've been working on. So it says, what's the length of the base of a triangle with height 18 and area 252? So the reason this one's different is because this time they gave us the area, and they're asking for the length of the base. So I'm just going to draw a picture real quick to get a visual, and then I'll start working with the formula. So it says it has a height of 18. So I'm just going to drop down this thing called an altitude. Its height is 18. The altitude always makes a right angle with the base. I'm looking for the length of this base. I don't know what he is. I'm going to call him B. And then I do know what the area is. Okay, so I want the formula for area of a triangle. What's the formula? Good. Base times height divided by 2. And then I'm going to plug in everything that I know into this formula. So what do they say that the area is? 252. So I'm going to put 252 where the A is. And then I'm going to recopy the equals. And then the base, I don't know that, so it's going to stay a B. But I do know the height. What's the height? 18. And then I'm going to just recopy the over 2. So I could do this problem several different ways, but we've done a lot of proportions lately, so I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to pop this 252 over a 1, and now I've got myself a proportion, and I'm going to solve by cross multiplying. You don't have to do it this way. I just wanted to practice this way. So what would you get when you cross multiply the 252 and the 2? 504, and then that will equal the other diagonal multiplied. So what's B times 18 times 1? 18b, right? B times 18 is just 18B. And then what do you do to get Mr. B by himself? Divide by 18. And if you take 504 and divide by 18, anybody have that? 28. And there he is. That's the base. So I know on the ones I'm giving you to do, I think you have a couple like that where they give you the area and you have to find a missing length. So just use your formula, plug in what they give you, and then if you can turn it into a proportion, that makes it real easy. Okay, let's look at 12. What is number 12? What shape? It is a trapezoid. So the formula, if you look on the front, we're only asked to find area. Your formula for area of a trapezoid is the height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. So I'm just going to show you all the steps for now, but I am going to write the formula down real quick. So height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. Okay, does anybody know which one's the height? The 8 is the height. It's straight up and down. And then the bases are always the parallel sides. So the 10 and the 15, those are your bases because they're the parallel sides. And remember, the height's always going to connect the two bases together. So I'm going to add the 10 and the 15, and then I just divide by 2. Take a second and try that, and let's see what you get. And I don't care how you work it out. Just let's see if everybody gets the same thing. You like being back up front and center?
I do.
Good. See, Alexis, TJ likes to be back up front and center. What? I wondered where they both went. I knew they both got withdrawn last week, and I was wondering. Ricky and Dakota. Okay, what'd you guys get? What'd you guys get? 100. Now, does anybody need me to talk about how you would find this? Because I could do lots of things. I could take 8 divided by 2 and get a 4, and then 10 plus 15 is 25, and then take 4 times 25. Or I could add the 10 and 15, get 25, take that times 8, get an answer, and then divide by 2. Lots of ways I could do it. Okay, number 13. Do you agree that this is a trapezoid as well? Okay, so first of all, this top base is a 4. The bottom base, I don't have the whole length of it, but I'm going to find it. What do you think this piece is right here? A 4. And then this guy over here, he wasn't mentioned, but do you know what it is? It's a 3. Does everybody know why that's a 3? It's because this other side's a 3, and the other reason is because these two sides are congruent. And so if this is 8 and this is 3, what's this over here? 8. So if this is an 8 over here too, and both of these sides are the same, and that's the same, then in that triangle there, those pieces have to be the same too. Okay, so now I have everything. I have my height, I have my top base, I have my bottom base. So here I go. I'm going to take my height times base 1 plus base 2 and divide by 2. So which one is our height? 8 is the height. And then the bases are what? 4 plus, what'd you say? 10. Because all the way from here to here is 10. 3 plus 4 plus 3. And then don't forget to divide by 2. Okay, take a second and tell me what that is. And lots of ways of doing it. Doesn't matter. Okay, what do you get? 56. Does anybody need to see me type it in my calculator? Or talk about it? Okay, I want to do 2 more, and then I'm going to let you guys work. Okay, number 15. What is this guy? It's a rhombus. Now, all of these problems are nice because they tell you what they are. But what if they didn't tell you? Would you all know it was a rhombus?
Yes, because they're opposite.
Okay, all the sides are congruent, and then these don't look like 90-degree angles, nor are they marked. Okay, so on these, it doesn't say, but I'm just going to do area. So your area formula for a rhombus, if you look back to the front, is diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. Okay, we learned a long time ago that a rhombus is a parallelogram, and we learned that if you have a parallelogram, that the diagonals bisect each other. Hiya! Welcome! Do you remember that? So a rhombus is a parallelogram, and we learned that if you have a parallelogram, the diagonals bisect each other. So if this piece right here is a 5, what's this piece right here? A 5. So how long is that whole diagonal? Okay, so one of the diagonals is 10. Okay, let's do the other diagonal. If this little piece right here is 6, what's this little piece right here? 6. And how long is that whole diagonal? 12. And then I divide by 2. And what is that? 60. Now, today's lesson is supposed to be easy. The next time I talk to you guys about stuff, which will be tomorrow, we will start looking at Pythagorean theorem again, 30, 60, 90s, 45, 45, 90s. So today is supposed to be easy. Everything's working out real nice and neat, but tomorrow we revisit all that special right triangle stuff. Okay, I want to do one more with you, and then I'm going to let you work and hope you get it all done and have no homework. Okay, in the rhombus, the diagonals are 9 inches and 6 inches. What is the area? Okay, so since it's talking about a rhombus and it's talking about the area, I'm just going to write the formula down, and then I'm just going to plug in everything that they've given me. Okay, so it says the diagonals are 9 inches and 6 inches. So one of the diagonals is 9, so I'm going to put a 9 into diagonal 1. What's the other diagonal? So I'm going to put a 6 into diagonal 2, and I recopy over 2, and that would make 27. Let's give this one a unit. What would you say? 27 what? Inches squared. Area and surface area, they're always in square units. And that would be that. Yeah? Feel good with that?
Yes.
Easy enough? Okay, so your assignment, which I would like you to do now so you don't have to worry about it later. So this is page 3. And I'm going to have you do 1 through 6. And 8 through 10, 14, and then 23 and 24 are on the other side, so don't forget about those guys. So 1 through 6, 8 through 10, oh, I guess 14 is on the other side too. So 14, 23, and 24, you have to turn the page to get to those guys. Okay, so you have a ton of time. You have a good solid 20 minutes to work on this. I'm hoping you can get it done in 20 minutes and then not have to worry about anything.